Hello there and welcome back. It's good to be back. So today we're going to be having a look at the Samsung AF Slim Zoom camera. As per usual, just going to give you a little bit of history, then we're going to have a closer look at the camera and then I'll share the results with you. So without further ado, let's crack on. Get my trusted notepad. So the Samsung AF Slim Zoom. I picked this camera up for no more than £5 and I believe I got it earlier this year in 2023. If not, it was late 2022 for my usual charity shops. So it launched in 1993, 30 years ago. Where is the time going? And this camera was placed somewhere within the mid to high price range in the marketplace. Now, whilst carrying out some research for this camera, I remembered that I had some old camera magazines which are incredibly useful for reference purposes, hence why I kept hold of them. Upon looking in Which Camera magazine for October-November 1993, I was able to find the camera and its recommended retail price. I'll pop that on the screen now. An exciting little machine with great ease in selection of the varied flash modes and the high-level features. There's multi-exposure shooting, an interval timer, self-setting portrait mode and the ability to shoot in almost no light at all with bulb setting, which keeps the shutter open as long as you keep pressing the shutter button. If you do decide to use this feature, you should rest the camera on a tripod or solid support. Splendid lens quality. Ease of use 5, value for money 4. Now that review seems to indicate that it was considered to be a fairly good quality point and shoot camera, but as you can see it was quite costly, coming in at 160 UK pounds. That would be £327 in today's money. So it was quite an expensive camera for the time. Now, just before moving on to have a closer look at the camera, I just wanted to mention two things about this camera. This version is the date version, which we'll have a look at in a moment, and the information on it is incredibly scarce. Hardly anything online. There are a few bits and bobs, but not a lot. And secondly, I'm a little bit puzzled by the Samsung logo on the camera. Now, what I'm going to do right now, I'm just going to pop up the logo that is on my camera, which is this one here. But on all the other reviews and information that I found online on exactly the same camera, this is the logo that is on it. So if anybody knows why there is a difference in the logo, if it's because one maybe from the States or Europe or whatnot, or if this camera was just literally released later on, same camera but released a little bit later, maybe in like 95, 96. If anybody knows, please let me know. Anyway, without further ado, let's have a close-up look at the camera. Okay, so let's take a closer look at the Samsung AF Slim Zoom. Before I start, better just show you what battery this takes, as people always ask. So this takes a CR123A battery. That's it. Okay, so looking at the front of the camera, we're just going to start on the left hand side and work our way around. So this little square just here, this is the finder window or the viewfinder window. These two kind of large circles here, that's your autofocus window. This smaller little sensor just there is your exposure sensor. Moving around here, you have your flash, which is quite self-explanatory. There's the little light or LED just here, and that's your self-timer lamp. And then on the bottom here, we have the landscape button. And I'm led to believe that if you want to take a landscape picture, you have to hold this down and press the shutter button at the same time. And I believe, not absolutely certain, but it kind of automatically adjusts the setting if you're wanting to take a landscape picture. Okay, let's have a look at the top of the camera. Okay, well let's just turn the camera on before we have a look at the top. Let's turn it around. Okay, so having a look at the top of the camera, starting on the left and working across to the right. So there's quite a lot of different settings on this camera, and I reached out to some people in the community to find out if they had like a manual and fortunately somebody that I reached out to, you know who you are, was able to send me one, which was really, really useful. So instead of me explaining absolutely everything, I'm just going to put some graphics on the screen that come from the manual, so that way you'll get a little bit more of an understanding. So obviously on the top here we've got the LED readout, and that explains everything that's going on, obviously in regards to the settings. And then if you can see there, it says red eye, automatic, fill-in, which is related to the flash, all your settings off. And obviously whenever you press these buttons here, they will cycle through the different settings. So say for example, if we just press flash, for example, you'll see, it's automatic flash and red eye, and you'll cycle through various different settings. That goes for mode as well. Snap's a little bit different. I'm glad I got the manual sent to me. But anyway, so first and foremost, you have flash settings. So I'm going to put up a little graphic on the screen now to explain the various different flash settings. Then you have snap mode. So if you press this button, that activates the snap mode. Here's a little graphic for that. And then if we cycle through the various different modes of the camera by pressing that button, you'll be able to utilize these settings. So have a little look at this graphic. And then the rest of it on the camera is quite self-explanatory. We've got your telephoto and your wide, so obviously this being a zoom camera, there you go, working absolutely fine. And then you have your shutter button on the top here, and then you have your on-off button here. So we'll just turn this off. So yeah, that's the top part of the camera. So looking at the rear of the camera, obviously we have your viewfinder. It's quite a small viewfinder. I didn't particularly like it. It made for framing difficulties. If you really quickly want to take a picture, I often found myself like looking here, or maybe just looking off site here. So that was a little bit frustrating. We've also just got the open button here to get the film in and out. So as you can see, there's pretty clean. But we've also got the little area there. You can replace the battery if the LED readout fails. But yeah, really lovely and clean. There you go. And I just want to talk about here on the back. So you've got, as this is the date mode, you've got various settings that you can input into the camera. Now, I'm glad I got the manual because I couldn't figure out what this 19 was related to. If I just go to different mode here, if you can see here, that's with obviously no date stamp at all. If we press mode again, then you have a readout here. Now you can see it says month, the 6th, and obviously, that would be June. The 19th, which is not, and 1987. And then we can cycle for a different mode. Press that again, where it reads it out slightly differently. Don't know if that's the same one here. Oh, there we go. So you've got like the year, the month, and the day. And then the one that I had it on was this one, which was 19/12/30. And obviously I knew that that was the time, but the 19 is actually related to the day. So because I can't set it to 2023 or to a 2023 date, because it only goes up to 2019, that's never going to be accurate. But I'm glad I found out about that. That's the day. So yeah, but that's useful. I mean, if you want to kind of pretend that you're in a different era and set the timestamp to a different time, that's quite useful. Anyway, I'm rambling now. And obviously on the bottom here, we just have a little tripod mount. So, what did I make of this camera? Well, obviously I took it up to a festival, the First Light Festival in Lowestoft on the, I think it was the 17th of June, just a month just gone. And it was okay. I took some okay pictures, I think. But as the evening went on, I got progressively more intoxicated. So obviously, well, you can tell me what you think of the pictures. But what do I feel about the camera? Well, if I'm absolutely honest, there was no real connection with this camera at all. I quite like simple point and shoot cameras. And whilst this camera obviously can be as simple as you want it to be, leaving it in manual mode, I just didn't feel any kind of connection shooting with this camera. So yeah, but anyway, let me know your thoughts about the pictures. Oh, and just one final thing, if I can get it over here. Almost forgot to mention, excuse me, I shot with Ilford FP4 Plus black and white film. I'd never shot with that before, but what was nice about that is that it's got an ISO of 125. So yeah, so glad that I picked this film up to test because I've never tested it before. It was a nice day. So yeah, we will see how the pictures come out. And yeah, let me know your thoughts. Anyway, this is me, and I'm signing off. See you later.